Hi there, I'm Bhavesh Shah from IIM Ranchi, and this is going to be the ultimate video for your personal interview preparation. Let's get into it. You're going to have 3 to 4 days of gap between the cutoffs being released and you actually having to sit for an interview. बहुत time है. Relax, calm down, हो जाएगा. I want to make sure that all of you have clarity of thought, that you actually know क्या होता है interview में. To understand that, I'm going to tell about my experience. My interview was of 7 minutes. Some interviews even go until 30 minutes. Understand that they're not out there to get you. They're professors. They just want to know you better. They want to gauge you. So don't let the anxiety seep in and get to you. In my interview, as soon as my Zoom meeting was on, I said, "Good morning, sir," in a very enthusiastic manner, and one of the panelists said, "Bhavesh, you are very animated. What is up?" I said, "Sir, I had really good food." Then they switched to Hindi. They were like, "Kya khaya?" I said, "Sir, potato. I am Jain." And then they asked me to verify my Aadhaar card. And then they asked me my introduction. I gave that. Very short and snappy, 30 seconds. Don't elongate yourself in an introduction. Don't go out saying, "I am Bhavesh Shah, studying in Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 Pondicherry. I did 12th standard with commerce and I got this much percentage, this. No. Snappy. It has to be like this. Good morning, sir. I'm Bhavesh Shah. I studied commerce with mathematics at Kendra Vidyalaya Pondicherry. My parents are both doctors and I have 3 things to share about myself. Number 1, I love teaching. I was invited by Christ University to give a talk in business analytics, YouTube analytics, and so on. And this brings me to point number 2. I love YouTube. I love creation. I'm the person with the video camera everywhere. I manage my school's YouTube channel and I run my own. Last but not the least, I love computers. I love tech. I love design. I won Microsoft's championships in India. That is about me. So a good snappy introduction really helps. It should not elongate too much. It should be to the point. It talks about your achievements and it is not filled with adjectives. Don't just say, "Sir, I'm academically inclined. I'm very talented. I am into this. I'm into that." Give proof. "Sir, I'm academically inclined and during my 12th preparation, I used to call my friends home and we used to learn together and I used to make notes and share that with people. I even brought them on a Zoom call. I recorded those and I put them on my YouTube channel." Give proof. Give anecdotes that you are actually academically inclined. Give them a reason for that, right? I hope this gives you an idea of what happened. And then after my introduction, they were like, "Do you like economics?" I'm like, "Sir, I love economics." And then the panelist asked, "What is LDMU?" I'm like, "Sir, if my mom had given me 10 potatoes, I'd be really happy with the first one, ecstatic with the second, amazed with the third. The utility I had been deriving from all of that would increase. But after a while, sir, I would not be able to eat. The utility derived would go down." But you know how Indian moms are, they're not going to stop. And LDMU basically states that with every consecutive consumption, the utility derived goes up, then goes down. I'm not sure if my definition is right, but at that point of time, I had actually memorized and learned all of that for boards, which got cancelled, but I knew it for the interview. So this is how I was able to explain. Then they asked me about exclusions of LDMU. If there are exclusions of LDMU, why is it a law? So on and so forth. Then they asked me accountancy made difference between a balance sheet and a cash flow, balance sheet and a profit and loss account. After that, they asked me a little bit about current affairs. They asked me, "Tell me some news articles in recent times which you have read." And then I talked about India's currency being the lowest in a 3-month period. Ab to aur bhi kam ho gaya. But then they asked me, why is it going down? They asked me about foreign exchange. They asked me what is the currency backed with? Why is US dollar the main currency? Before US dollar kya tha? Oh yeah, this question. I really love this question. In my introduction, I said that my parents are doctors, right? And then they asked, if your parents are doctors, why do you want to do IPM? I said, "Sir, correlation doesn't equate causation." And then the interviewer started laughing and I was assuming ki theek hai, ab statistics questions पूछेंगे because, well, I was trying to tell it in that regard. But then they asked me about my city where I live in, Pondicherry. They were like, What is the meaning of Pondicherry? What crops are grown in Pondicherry? How many MLAs, MPs do you have from Pondicherry? What is the history of Pondicherry? Because, we were under the control of French until recently. Until recently, matlab 100 years ho gaya hai, but yeah. And they also had a list of my certificates. So at the end, they were like, AceIPM, huh? I'm like, yes, sir. Free mein coaching mila? Yes, sir. And we gave coaching to 200 other students too. And then they were like, all right, thank you. I'm like, thank you so much, sir. Have a great day. They were like, yes, you too. And then I exited the Zoom. So that was my experience. Now, I want to talk about what you can expect in an IPM interview. I have thoda notes here, so let me read it. Thoda, okay? Yeah, I'll forget to mention every other point. There are 5 types of questions that can come. Number 1 is your academic questions from your 11th and 12th portions. They won't be asking a very broad question. Tell me all the 14 principles of Fayol or someone, I forgot. So they're not going to go in that regard. They will ask questions that can be answered verbally to an extent. Simple questions. Okay? And if it is the case of mathematics, they might ask you, hey, draw the graph of 1 by x, draw a linear graph, draw an exponential graph and show me. So you basically draw that and show them like this. Sometimes they might even dictate a question for you to write in max, and then you do it in the paper and you tell them. So make sure you have a pen and paper with you during the time of your interview. Number 2 is personalized GK. So it is going to be GK based on what information you give to them. Oh, your parents are both doctors. Tell me what they do. Okay, is this what they do? Nice. Oh, your dad is a CA. Okay, tell the full form of CA. What is the role of a CA in a company? What is ICAI? And so forth and so on. They would ask questions like this to make sure that you know what your parents do. Right? And afterwards, they might even ask the questions that I told you. What crops are grown in your city? Why is your city famous? Sometimes, if the interviewer is very passionate, they might even ask, I want to visit your city. What should I visit in your city? What are the landmarks? What are the tourist destinations? And so forth and so on. So that is personalized GK. Anything that you say, it will be used against you. So make sure you know the answer for the things that you are stating in front of them. Number 2 is static GK. In that you might have the budget, the union ministers, who is the Olympic winner, how the legislature works, how the executive department works, how the country runs, about the economic status, what are the laws that have been passed, the CEO of different companies, IPO kya recently released hua hoga, or like the states and capitals. And I want to share a very important story here. In one interview, the interviewer asked a student 12 to 20 countries ka state on like rapid fire round. What's the capital of Albania? What's the capital of South Africa? What's the capital of Zimbabwe? All like he was asking very small tiny countries that did not have prominence enough for us to recall or remember that. What's the capital of Papua New Guinea? What's the capital of very small countries, right? And out of the 12 to 20 questions, he was able to answer only 3 or 4. And at that point, you're going to shit your pants. What's the capital of this? Sir, I do not know. This? Sir, I do not know. What about this? Sir, I'm sorry, I do not know. You're going to get pressurized. You're going to shit your pants. Oh God, itna mehnat kiya. And is this how I'm going to lose my seat? Remember, folks, that is not going to happen. They don't expect you to remember the capitals of every other country. They want to make sure that you remain calm and you don't shit your pants. And that is their main objective apart from testing your knowledge. And they asked me one question which I did not know. And in that regard, I was like, I cannot recall currently, but that would be my first Google search after the interview. And I said that in a manner, hey, he's not just saying, no, I do not know and moving on. And I even did the action of writing it. Like, so I do not know, but that will be my first Google search after the interview. And it shows he takes initiative. Your candidate is taking initiative to write it down, take a point of it, and educate himself on a topic that he did not know. So these are qualities that stand out. But at the same time, don't make it repetitive, man. Don't let all these things be the center focus. These should be the auxiliary of your interview. So I talked about academic questions, Very important. You probably have a lot of notes. You have your guides, Telegram mein to itna hoga information. And we also have a list of questions of every single subject that was asked in our portal, learn.aceipm.com. All of you want to go to IIM to be managers. Managers need to be up to date with what is happening in the world. Right now, what is happening? We have that Agnipat ka issue. We have Russia and Ukraine war. You should be aware of what is happening, the stance of our country for that regard. You should be able to read newspapers right now. Even if you haven't started, go through the newspapers, go through like all the current affairs of the past 3 to 6 months. 6 months zyada ho jata hai. Just do 3 months first. And try to make a list of things that are happening. Go through like important newspaper articles, like a proper front page article on Agnipat, read it, and then extrapolate information from that such that you can write the same in 100 words of your own. So when you write it, yaad hota hai. No one is going to remember by just reading it. You need to write it in your words for you to recall in an interview key. If they ask, what is this issue? Tell me. You should be able to tell it in the most simplest manner. One more thing, in the interview, don't just go and answer it very quickly. Before the interviewer completes, many people just go and say, yes sir, so the definition of this law is, do not do that. It's completely okay to listen for 1, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then calmly speak in a normal tone. You don't have to be very fast. You don't have to be very slow either. Speak in a normal tone and impress them with your delivery and with the knowledge that you have, right? So general awareness, very important. Multiple websites from Jug and Josh to the newspaper which is lying down over here in my room. But yeah, you have sources to get that done. Also make sure you know everything that you talk about. If you say ki, sir, I'm a stock market enthusiast, I've invested this much and I'm learning. Make sure that you know ki, yesterday ka stock market ka movement kaise tha? What is happening currently? What's the big news in this universe of stock markets? So now we talked about syllabus, GK, general awareness. Last but not the least, I want to talk about questions that they might ask, and these are called HR questions. Tell me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I see myself in the graduation party of IIM. Do not say that. I mean, depends how well your interview has gone so far. But yeah, that becomes very cocky. I just did it because joke. So you need to make sure you have a career path. If you are a science student, they might ask, you had biology. Why do you not want to be a doctor? Why do you want to be a manager? Don't you think doctors are doing a better service to the world? And then you need to know how to combat these questions. And all of that will be taught in our learn.aceipm.com PI module. We'll be taking sessions to make sure that you know how to approach these questions in an interview in a very sophisticated manner, in a unrude manner, in a very polite manner. Those things are very important and it speaks a lot. It speaks volume about your personality. How is IPM useful to you? Many people are very generic. Sir, I want to learn a lot and contribute to my society and I want to be in IIM. I aspire to be here. These things are not enough because it can be, if you replace IPM with any other course, it still holds value. You need to talk about how IPM makes you want it more than everybody else. So if I were in your shoes, I'd actually go with an answer like, I know a senior at IIM Indore, and I've seen the work that they do, the subjects that they learn, the homeworks that they complete. It is the most exciting thing. A lot of people might lose energy having 50 pages of pre-reading before every class, but still that thing energizes me. I know that I want to be a socially aware manager. Still, I know that I want to make sure that SDGs of my company that I work in future is accomplished. And I know that being in a university with professors and students alike who are going to bring the best out of me is where I want to be. You should know how to communicate that. Give the passion. Be passionate about it. Right? Anyways, ज़्यादा overacting हो गया. So, now that you have a good idea about these topics, I want to talk about the 3 colleges that take an interview. You have Indore, you have Ranchi, and you have Rohtak. Let's talk about it. Indore Main, they want academically rigorous people, academically inclined people. So don't go there and say, sir, I want to be an entrepreneur. Business is my passion. I don't like studying. Direct reject. You need to talk about how learning, management, MBA is going to help you with your business. Entrepreneurship ka objective is not for your pockets to get heavier, but for your society to be benefited by the technological advancements and the innovations that you make to fix a problem in your society. And sir, I want to do that. And that is where I find education very important. If I don't know history, if I don't know business laws, if I don't know business management, if I can't keep people with me, if I can't manage resources, I would not be efficient. I would not be effective. So these are topics that you should have in your head. Okay? And in Indore, sometimes they might not even ask you your introduction. They might not even ask your accomplishments. They might not even think about your co-curricular activities. They'll be like, tell me, what is the value of sine 30? Okay, you know that. Draw me sine x graph. Tell me what is the... I'm asking very simple questions because my mathematics is weak. I do not know what are the tough questions of maths. I spoke with a teacher, a professor, who was in the IIM Indore panel for IPM. And she was our business communications teacher. And she told me, Bhavesh, we are not looking for employees. We are looking for students. We want them to answer 11th and 12th questions. We don't want them to have 10 certificates from Udemy. What's the point of completing a Harvard course in financial modeling if the student cannot tell me what are the main headings of a cash flow statement? And I was like, damn. Point, fair enough. So make sure your academics is revised. Nahi malum to don't bullshit. Sir, I'm unable to recall it. Be polite. At the same time, make sure that you learn it in a really good manner. Like, itna sara resources are available for 11th and 12th, man. I type in Google, accountancy chapter 1. Pallo, dekhlo, learn it. You've already done it for your 11th and 12th. And this is also going to help you with your CUET. Right. Don't be lazy. Get this shit done. Academics. Answering academic questions in front of them is like, damn, this kid knows his shit. And that is very essential. Now, in Ranchi, while academics has its own fixture, they focus a lot on your ECAs, on your profile, in your extracurricular activities. A friend of mine who is a Hindi rapper, he was asked, okay, sing and show, rap karke dikhao. And he had to do it on the spot. Someone who had paintings on the wall, they had to remove it and show them what paintings they have done. If someone said they were a poet, they had to recite few things in front of them and, tell about the work that they do. Ranchi wants you to be more than just your classroom. If I were in your shoes and I said, sir, I like photography. Actually, in mathematics, I learned about the Fibonacci series and I've been trying to implement the same in my photographic skills. I can share my screen and show to you if you would like. These things will really set you apart. This will show ki, hey, school mein padhta hai, but he takes that knowledge and applies it. Our chairperson has been a huge fan of application-based knowledge. Every single course that we've had so far, be it biology or be it physics, it's heavily focused on the applications of those subject matter. So understand that. Ranchi is very unique in that regard. Rohtak now, you can say that they give a lot of boon to people who've done well in their 10th and 12th. And the same is also continued in the interview. They have a mix of both. They would ask you about your ECA, academic questions, and at the same time, they have this extempo round. And the best way to present an extempo, the video is in the description down below. And trust me, once you learn that framework, you will be able to give an extempo for any topic on the spot in the best possible manner. I can guarantee you that. Now that you understand how IIM ka interviews happen, what questions are asked, and I hope I've been able to give you a lot of detail and insight about the same, your job now is to go through a lot of interview experiences from Telegram to Quora, and we also have a list of questions. Understand that, try to learn those topics, revise your academics, and make sure in the interview, you don't just give adjectives about yourself. You know how to talk, you back it up with proper anecdotes and examples. If I take the example of my really good friend Vani, who's also giving the interview this year, I would say, Good morning, sir. I'm Vani Agrawal. I did commerce from Indore, but throughout my life, I've shifted from Jammu, Ahmedabad, Pune, Mumbai, and many other cities. My dad is a chartered accountant, and my mom is a housewife. I have 3 things to share about myself. I love the stock markets, and I've been investing and learning in it. Number 2, I love design and tech. I recently participated in IIM Indore's Chaitanya competition and got first, the marketing summit and got third. I like bringing eyeballs and I know how to make people interested and retain them. And I love businesses, building it, learning it, knowing case studies. All in all, I find myself to be inclined towards academics because I read a lot and that gives me energy. And I look forward to this interview, sir. And a lot of you might now ask, Bhavesh, I do not have certificates. I do not have things of interest to show. What do I do? Even though you do not have certificates, you have hobbies. I know one student who got into Indore. He said he doesn't have any debate competition, he doesn't have any sports, he doesn't have anything. But he said he liked gardening and he was a biology student. Then I made him write a paragraph on biology, on seeds, how he cultivates things in his personal garden. And that was a very good point in the interview which he utilized. Your job now at the end of the day is number 1, go through different personal interview experiences. Number 2, compile a list of things that you can talk about yourself. You like sports, talk about teamwork. Talk about how you feel that teamwork is management and how you learn a lot from people collaborating. Talk about collaboration in the academic sphere, right? Talk about globalization and how it has aided this. Itna sala cheez can be done. You just need 1 or 2 hobbies and you can build a story around it. Very, very, very easily. You like watching movies? Okay. Talk about cinematography. Talk about color grading. Talk about the artistics in it. Oh, you are someone who likes painting. Talk about how art is very important in sustainable design, Ashkar, in sustainable thinking, in UI, UX, in understanding how to make accessible design, not sustainable, accessible design and whatnot. You need to make sure that you have your career plan. You need to make sure that you can use your passion, you can integrate that in what you want to do. And you need to make sure you can showcase that in an interview. At the same time, if you cannot answer basic academic questions, all of these become secondary. So, plan of action, revise 11th and 12th, do general knowledge, go through a lot of personal interview experiences, and last but not the least, make a list of the things that you've done, what you like to do, what you're passionate about. Make a quick story about it, 1 line, 2 line, 3 line. Know how to introduce yourself in the ways I've done so far. And I promise you, you'll have an amazing interview. Thank you. And like, share, subscribe kar do yaar. Oh, and also, our personal interview module will be live. Learn.aceipm.com or the first link in the comments down below. Bye.